You can see the front cover of the New York Post. You can see the American flag, the Israeli flag, and for the most part, the majority of people are walking around.
Walking around is amazing.
But the people who did walk on the flags, the people on the outside, yelled at them, shame, shame on you. Let's bring in Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, former Secret Service guy, former New York City police officer. He joins us from Florida, where everybody should be during the winter. Dan, one of the other things the President of the United States said yesterday was, hey, Iran, turn your internet back on and let reporters roam free. The last thing they want to do is turn the internet back on so they know the world reaction, that we're on the side of the people who want freedom.
Well, I mean, that's the way tyrannical, despotic regimes work. It's the way they isolate and contain their power, is keeping their people from getting that outside message of freedom. I mean, radio liberty and all of these things that go back decades were efforts by us and others to get the information necessary. Listen, communist regimes and other regimes that have been tyrannical in the past, the way they, suppress the economy is they control everything. They control the factories, they control the products, Steve. But one of the things that's hard to control is an idea. And the idea of freedom is clearly infectious, and it's caught on in Iran. And it's really a shame, that the media hasn't caught on as well and done their real homework on this.
I think the president's playing it brilliantly in saying, I'm not looking for a regime change. I'm looking to support the Iranian people, and I support your protests, and calling on them not to kill their own people, which is unbelievable. The reason why Soleimani wasn't mourned by 73 million people is because it was under his orders that he was shooting these protesters in cold blood in the street. Yesterday, they shot a photographer and a journalist dead for what they did and for where they were. Here, I want you to hear how the media, though, is playing Soleimani's death.
He is fudging the intelligence. They are overstating and exaggerating what the intelligence shows.
Do you think the administration has been straight with the American people about the reasons for taking out General Soleimani?
I don't think the administration has been straight with the Congress of the United States.
It was a very vague explanations that we got from various officials.
Yes, I think that was a dramatic mistake.
When we're on the knife's edge of a larger conflict, which requires public support, he's more interested in owning the libs than uniting the country.
Yeah, and that seems to be the elite media's point of view, is it's all about Donald Trump. Forget about the general and how he killed so many people. Donald Trump is a bad guy.
Steve, Soleimani was involved in ethnic cleansing, mass murder, and terrorism. I'm being candid when I tell you this. I sincerely don't get the calculus here. So if you're in a newsroom or you're a Democrat, it's basically the same thing. The information that goes in and out is identical, so it doesn't really matter. And you're going to not do journalism, which these outlets haven't done in years, and you're going to err on the side of something. You would think a sane, rational person, again, we're talking about the media, so that probably goes out the window. You would say to yourself, if we're going to err on the side of not doing journalism, this is probably one of those times where we should at least give Donald Trump, the United States, the American government, the benefit of the doubt based on the goal and the end game, which was killing this terrorist. But I just took a quick list of the times they parroted propaganda for the Iranians. MSNBC put out the other day that there were 30 dead Americans, possibly, according to Iranians, in the attack. That was Iranian propaganda. Then we had the Soleimani was a revered figure, like Elvis and Princess Di. Not a joke. That was on MSNBC. Not kidding. Then we had CNN giving a platform to the hostage-taker spokeswoman from 1979 in Iran. And then finally, we have them parroting, almost without question, the Iranian line that the takedown of this passenger jet was an accident. There's no evidence it was an accident, yet we don't know that. How about you get back to journalism and tell the American people the truth? What's happening is really shameful right now.
The president shouldn't even need to even legally say it's an imminent threat. Soleimani just threatened us 3 days before he was behind the attack of our embassy. And who would think that he's going to give up attacks after that? He lands in Baghdad. The president had every right to take him out. I don't even know why he brought up imminent threat.
Brian, the imminent threat was Soleimani having a pulse.
His resume.
Listen, I did this for years at the highest levels in the Secret Service, designing security plans in some of the world's hot zones. It's not me trying to pat myself on the back. The taxpayer paid for it. It was a great job. I'm not trying to be anybody's hero here. I'm just suggesting nobody goes, hey, listen, do we do this or do that if they're going to attack now, or if they're going to, God forbid, try to attack the president or operation tomorrow?
Right.
I mean, no, you evaluate a threat for being dangerous based on their past history. countries, and you take action. This is common sense. Only a moron would think otherwise.
Yeah, the protesters over in Iran are now saying death to the Ayatollah. They want the regime to change. So we'll continue to follow that story. Let's talk about the FBI, because I know that there are going to be some reforms there. The director has said he wants changes to the surveillance and how they do that and how they oversee surveillance. The FISA court has selected someone to oversee this, all the reforms. His name is David Kress. He's a former Obama lawyer and a left-wing blogger. What do you know about him, and what's your reaction?
Who appears on the Rachel Maddow show.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of selecting like Adam Schiff to be the head of the RNC. I mean, this is a joke. There's only one. There's no option B or C here, folks. Let me be crystal clear. The selection of David Kress to do this is either a stick in the eye to everybody out there who knows this is the Spygate's the biggest political scandal of our time, or it's a bigger stick in the eye. There's no option B here.
Who selected
Just a
him,
couple
Dan?
of things.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Who did this?
I'm not sure what the calculus and who exactly made the final call on this, but there's no doubt this was a slap in the face. Get a load of this one. Remember the Nunes memo that has now been vindicated by Congressman Devin Nunes, who wrote this memo, what is it, a year and a half, 2 years ago, that has now been entirely vindicated by the IG. He slammed the Nunes memo, and in a blog post that's still up, you can all read it, he actually suggested Nunes. I'm not kidding, folks. Nunes could be prosecuted for obstruction of justice. This is like a comedy act. This is like the new Dave Chappelle series.
The president
here.
tweeted about it. He's got to change it. Next thing I want to bring up is Nancy Pelosi's terrible interview yesterday. She cannot put two sentences together. I don't know why anybody points this out. And here she, again, she brings up this farcical notion that all this has to do with Putin. Listen.
The President of the United States is in complete denial about Russia's role. As I have said, in terms of this president, all roads lead to Putin. Everything that he has done, whether it's in Syria vis-a-vis the Turks, whether it's been in Ukraine in terms of withholding assistance as they try to fight the Russians, his denial about their role in our election then and now, all roads lead to Putin. And sometimes I wonder about Mitch McConnell, too. Why is he an accomplice to all of that?
What about Kevin McCarthy? Why not bring him in?
Is she saying that? Is she saying, Dan Bongino, that Mitch McConnell is an accomplice to the President of the United States or to Mr. Putin?
Steve, nobody knows what she's saying.
I know.
You're looking at a broken person right here. Here's what happened. She could always fall back on the fact that the media would protect the fact that even if she lost something, she'd be called a brilliant political tactician. What happened here behind the scenes, what I'm hearing is she took a massive faceplant on this impeachment thing. It is humiliating her in front of everyone. Nobody believes this was a successful maneuver anymore. And now the only line she had going, that she's this brilliant Napoleon-like tactician, is falling apart. So what do? They go back to their Snuggie, their warm blanket. Putin did it. Putin impeached the president. Putin did this. Putin interfered in the election. He's an agent of Putin. Steve's an agent of Putin. Dan's an agent of Putin. You know, it's like a song for them. They don't have anything else. It's their warm, snuggie blanket they go back to when they get humiliated.
Just when we forgot about Russia.
And Snuggies.
Just when, like the Godfather, just when you thought, you forgot about Russia, they pull it back in. I mean, they just can't help it. It's all she has to save the remnants of her tattered, broken, wrecked reputation.
And Dan,
no, nothing left.
Exit question. It looks as if impeachment could happen this week. Your prediction of what happens?
I believe it's going to be a quick trial, disposed of rapidly. I believe the president's approval rating probably goes up another 1 or 2 points once this abomination is over.
Let's see how many Republicans flip, and we'll see how long it'll go. Dan Bongino, thanks so much.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys.